Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, the channel donations, and the Patreon family. We working now. Follow me on social media too, Boxingego, at Boxingego. Conor McGregor been a little bit quiet on his social media. Obviously, he lost. He sounds like he's gonna get paid handsomely off of the Mayweather fight. According to Dana White, 6.5 million pay-per-view buys. But as a fighter, it's still a loss. So even though you're gonna get a nice, comfy paycheck, I mean, you still lost, and you have to deal with that and cope with that. Even though this is not primarily his sport, and he speaks out for the first time. So we'll get right into it. I'll go to Conor McGregor, his verified page. You see the blue check mark. See, last thing he posted prior to this, just now, was at the weigh-in. He posted this and he says, "Raising the tricolor flag with pride. Thank you for all the fans that showed up at the weigh-ins. Tomorrow we go to war." He did better than some people thought. Some people knew. Like myself, I think he did exactly what I expected him to do. Now, he posted this from the press conference. He had his own whiskey. He's coming out with the notorious whiskey. He was drinking it and just soaking it all in. And this is what he says. "Just coming back around after a whirlwind couple of days. Thank you to all the fans for the support of the fight and the event. Without your support, we as fighters are nothing, so I thank you all. Thank you to my team of coaches and training partners. I had an amazing team, and it truly was an amazing and enjoyable camp. And honestly, I feel with just a little change in certain areas of the prep, we could have built the engine for 12 full rounds under stress and got the better result on the night." He goes on to say, "Getting to 12 rounds alone in practice was always the challenge in this camp. We started slowly getting to the 12 and decreasing the stress in the rounds the closer it got to 12. I think for the time we had, 10 weeks in camp, it had to be done this way. If I began with a loaded 12 rounds under much stress, I would have only hit a brick wall and lost progress as a result, and potentially not made the fight. A little more time, we could have made the 12 cleanly while under more stress and made it through the later rounds in the actual fight. I feel every decision we made at each given time was the correct decision, and I am proud of everyone of my team for what we have done in the short time that we done it. 30 minutes was the longest I have fought in a ring or cage or anywhere, surpassing my previous time of 25 minutes. I am happy for the experience and happy to take all these great lessons with me and implement them into my camp going forward. Another day, another lesson. Congrats to Floyd Mayweather on a well-fought match. Very experienced and methodical in his work. I wish him well in retirement. He is a heck of a boxer. His experience, his patience, and his endurance won him this fight hands down. I always told him he was not a fighter, but a boxer. But sharing the ring with him, he is certainly a solid fighter. Strong in the clinch, great understanding of frames and head position. He has some very strong tools he could bring into the MMA game for sure. Here's a toast of whiskey to everyone involved in this event and everyone who enjoyed it. Thank you to all. On to the next one." Conor McGregor. So I want to just give my thoughts. Sounds like I guess I went through puberty. But that was a nice message. I mean, all in all, it's a nice message. I mean, there's a little point, like, you know what I mean, if I'm nitpicking, there's a little point where it sounds like he kind of made some excuses. But, I mean, he's a fighter. I mean, he has that Irish blood, probably prideful. All in all, it's a good message. But, I mean, the middle part where he's talking about the 12 rounds and if we had longer, things like that. But to my knowledge, he was training boxing for at least a year, because behind the scenes, that's what he said. I mean, they were going back and forth with each other on TMZ, things of that sort. And he kind of knew he was going to get the Floyd fight. They had to just work out the details and the particulars, see how the UFC was going to be involved and Showtime and, you know what I mean, all the schematics and the details. But he's like, oh, we did what we could in the short period of time in the 12 rounds. But I mean, it is what it is. It's like he says, it's a learning curve, and you as a fighter, you have no choice but to learn. It's just like Shakur Stevenson or Mick Connellan, who's Irish, along with Conor McGregor. That's why typically you don't just see him thrown into a 10 or 12 rounder. You got to build up to that. I personally know fighters at different levels. You know what I mean? Some world champions, former world champions, some who are like more local, and you know what I mean, haven't reached the big stages yet, and the sellout crowds and stuff like that. And they tell me it's a progress. It's a process. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's apparent. That's why, like I said, when people turn pro, they don't just run. Just like Vasyl Lomachenko. I mean, he could be undefeated possibly if he didn't fight Salido in his second fight. They rushed it, just like Conor McGregor. But this is the boxing game, the fight game, and money talks. Conor McGregor kind of talked himself into a fight, meaning his profile, his brand, his mouth, his size, like those things were big enough for the Floyd to lure Floyd out of retirement for a colossal payday and make the fight. So there's no excuses. I mean, if you didn't prepare for 12 rounds, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, the Mac Life, if you go to their website, the Mac Life, there's an interview with Conor McGregor, and he says I know he's probably banking on me to fatigue and get tired, but we've done all this and we're ready to go. So I mean, you can't switch it now when things don't work out. But like I said, I'm not trying to nitpick, because I think the overall tone of the message was very good, and I mean, I appreciate this. Like I said, I told you this in my honest, humble opinion when Ronda Rousey lost both times. I don't like how she just does a disappearing act. Conor McGregor at least just took a couple days to the face, probably spent time with his girlfriend and his son and close friends and stuff, his manager and all that, and then he pops back up and has a detailed message. I have no choice but to respect that. Ronda Rousey, she took her L's, and they were bad L's, Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, and she just disappears and then shows up on Ellen and starts crying and hiding her face from TMZ. Conor, he took his lumps like a man, you know what I mean? And girls can do it too. Women can do it. Take your lumps like a woman, and it's the fight game. Conor McGregor. Oh, who is that? Oh, is that Boxingego? That's Ego right there. We working, man. But like I said, I enjoyed it. You see me right here, fight week. It was great stuff. And the good thing about Conor McGregor is, like I said, how he's taking his loss. It's all about how you take a loss. And if he really respects Bruce Lee and likes Bruce Lee like I do, then he'll know some of the Bruce Lee quotes. And Bruce Lee has a lot of quotes about just life, and like, don't ask for a simple life, but you know what I mean, ask for the strength to endure a difficult one, things like that. So bumps and bruises, peaks and valleys, that's part of life. He made a hell of a paycheck in this particular fight with Floyd Mayweather. He's still a good fighter. He challenged himself. He came up short, and that's what it is. But like I said, if he goes back, if he's really a true fan of Bruce Lee, he can go to Tumblr or something and read all these Bruce Lee quotes, and you know what I mean, just get his head right and come back strong. Bruce Lee has a ton of quotes like that. Man, I should pull up some Bruce Lee quotes, because he has some great stuff. He has some great stuff about like, it's not, you're not defeated until you in your mind tell yourself you're defeated. So Conor can bounce back. Like I said, he stepped outside the octagon, stepped outside of his comfort zone, tried something new, was paid handsomely for it. He did better than people thought. You know what I mean? A lot of people, Mike Tyson, Chris Van Herding, actual boxers and stuff, gave him props. Like, oh, I thought he was gonna get stopped sooner, or I thought, you know what I mean, I thought he wouldn't win any rounds. Max Kellerman came back and apologized because he said that Conor wouldn't land a punch. So, I mean, take it all in. I like Conor's message. I like Conor as a fighter. He can bounce back. He just has to come back mentally strong. And I don't know if he's gonna be just because, like, he was like, the boxing ring is mine, and I'm gonna rule the boxing game with the iron fist. I'm telling you, it's boxing and MMA, even though they're both disciplines, it's like football and rugby. It's like miniature golf and golf. They seem similar. They use maybe even some similar tools, but they're totally different. You know what I mean? and Conor got the sweet science 101 from arguably TBE, you know what I mean? But all in all, I like the message from Conor McGregor. He should take some time off, decide what he wants to do next. You know what I mean? If he's going to come back this year, if he's going to fight Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson winner, if he's going to try it for a Nate Diaz trilogy, if Nate Diaz, I don't know. He basically said he wants Nate Diaz to come down to 155 and not the 170 again. So I don't know Nate Diaz's stance on that, but he definitely has a ton of options, and he just has to remain humble, remain strong. But all in all, I really like Conor McGregor as a person and as a fighter. And I mean, like I said, he didn't do no sucker shit, and all the shit he talked, he came back. And this is the other thing that I like about his message, if you think about it, is he's kind of breaking down what Floyd does. That he's really trying to learn from it. He's 29, he's younger than Floyd. Floyd's done, so he wished him well, but he's like breaking down kind of what Floyd did well in there. You know what I mean? And if he does that and studies it and learns from his mistakes, I mean, you don't have to worry about Floyd no more. Floyd's chapter is closed, according to him. He said he made a promise to his family and Al Heyman. So learn from this and improve upon it. But I like that. I like the fact that that's what you should do. You know what I mean? That's what I do. As when I make a mistake on the path of being a YouTube vlogger and reporter, or with the video edit or something, we see how we can correct it. You know what I mean? He has to get over this hump of this fatigue thing, because I noticed it in a couple fights. He seemed kind of gassed in the Chad Mendes fight a little bit, namely in the UFC with the Nate Diaz fights, stuff like that. So he has to figure out how to work through that, because other than that, he's a really good fighter. He's very methodical, and in the UFC, his stand-up game is going to be top shelf, because of, you know, like I said, a lot of those guys aren't pro boxers, don't have dedicated boxing experience, and you were in there with the master. Learning from the master is your pay, punk. Let me know what you guys think of Conor McGregor, his message to the fans. Again, as a boxing fan and just a fight fan, a sports fan, I appreciate this. This is, whether he wrote it or if he told someone what he was thinking and they wrote it, I don't know. But this is on his verified account, and he put some thought into this. Look how much text is in this. You know what I mean? Look how many characters this is. So I think the fans will respect that, and they'll certainly get behind him for being solid and just being, you know what I mean, I guess a valiant warrior in that. I don't like that when people act like poor sports and start making up a ton of excuses or talking shit. You know what I mean? Just own it and grow from it, or disappear like Ronda Rousey did. She got married on the day of Mayweather McGregor. She got married, which was really weird. It was like, I don't know if she was trying to steal the shine from that, but she got married. I don't know if she'll fight again, but how she took her losses was kind of weird. She just disappeared. You don't hear nothing from her unless she's doing a TV spot or whatever. But anyway, congrats to Ronda Rousey on her love life. I'm not sure if she'll come back. Conor can definitely come back though. Let me know your thoughts. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.